It's good to see you. Wonderful. There you go.
Okay. So these are your school counselors for this school year. We have Miss Elise, and so she's going to be brand new to us at Carnahan, but she is definitely an experienced school counselor, working 21 years in education. She's worked in the middle school setting, the high school setting, and of course elementary. And this school year, she will have grades 2nd, 3rd, and ALE. And so she's just super excited to meet the families and the students, and she's real positive and she has a lot of energy. So we're super excited and blessed to have her on board this year. And this is my 2nd year at Carnahan, and so I'm super excited to be working with you guys again. This will be my 11th year in education, and so my grade levels will be pre-K through 1st grade, and then 4th and 5th. And so I'm excited to partner up with you as well. Okay, just a little bit about our responsibilities as a school counselor. Comes from the Texas model for comprehensive school counseling. And so in there, it describes all of our responsibilities and all the services that we provide for students, staff, and the community and families. And so we just, Miss Elise and I, we strongly believe that, establishing a working relationship with everyone. And that includes not just the student, but it's going to include you guys as a family, our staff, and then our community. And in hopes that it will strengthen all students' personal, social, emotional, and educational skills. And we do that by implementing a balanced guidance program. And so I'll go into a little bit of detail just of what these 4 components are. But we have our guidance curriculum, our responsive services, our system support, and then our individual planning. The first one I'll talk about is guidance curriculum. And I know that Miss Elise and I, we just love being in the classroom with those kids. And so that's our preventative part, where we talk about all kinds of things. So I have a Cloud, his name's Cloud, and it's a Kimochi, and Kimochi in Japanese stands for feelings, and it comes with a book. And so this book talks a lot about Cloud and, just running into obstacles and knowing that sometimes we don't really have good days or good moments in our day. And so he's actually flipped around with a sad face. And then at the end of the story, it talks about how sometimes we might need a little bit of rain to bring out some sunshine. And so then he's happy again. Another book that you might see, so we use a lot of bibliotherapy in our lessons. We might be doing a lot of activities. The main thing in our lessons is that the kids are engaged and they're learning, to be a better them. It might be one of the 6 pillars of character. Here we have a worry woo. His name is Twitch, and he gets very frustrated, and so he stomps his feet and he yells. And it's learning how can we cope in a healthy way whenever we do feel frustrated or angry. We'll talk about goal setting. So I have a book called Happy Dreamer. So kids can learn about goals and creating a SMART goal to help them in their academics. We have career planning, so Roberto the Insect Architect. And then sometimes kids do need to learn that sometimes failure leads to success. So I pulled out after the fall. But we're hoping to increase their self-esteem. Let's see. Just building healthy relationships with kids and adults, and then just understanding or having possession of just assertiveness and skills for them. Okay, another component to our program is the responsive service part. So in case we work with kids, who are in a crisis, or a family who is in a crisis. And so Miss Elise and I will be there for you or your child. We have individual planning and then system support, which benefits indirectly the student. And then we also offer individual counseling and small group counseling. Both of these are available to all students. The only thing is that both of them require a written permission slip from parents. So in individual counseling, we'll be working with a student, you know, on an individual situation. It could be, you know, a grief, a loss, a transition. I'm thinking for a small group, we have like our banana splits group, our divorce groups, friendship groups, positive choice group, a leader group, self-esteem group. So all of those are available, but we just need parent permission. And then I already talked about the guidance lessons. The purpose is to just develop skills and social growth for during school years and beyond. And then just some tips for parents. I know it's hard as a working parent and myself, and so just having a consistent routine set up. So like having a good bedtime routine, making sure they have their dinner. Maybe it's reading a book prior to bedtime, making sure they're sleeping, and then just waking up in time. So like having a morning routine. Maybe right now we're working virtual, so having the routine of letting them continue to get dressed and eating breakfast and logging in on time. Designating a working space for your child at home. So maybe at the same spot every time, so they know that, hey, this is my working space. Talking to your child. So just communicating with your child daily. How was your day? What was the hardest thing about your day? How are we going to overcome it? Those type of things. I think that's very important to have those daily conversations with your child. And then just establishing a positive working relationship with your child's teacher. I think this is just really important. So as a parent, you know, to be proactive and communicate with your child, because I know that at Carnahan, all of our teachers love our students, and so they want what's best for the kiddo and, you know, your child. And I think it's important that you reach out to them. Number 5, just being familiar with the Schoology platform. It's a lot to learn, and so I know that the emails are coming in, but just staying on top of it and being informed, because that's how our students are getting accounted for attendance and participating in school each day. And I like this one. It was modeling hard work and persistence. So it's just showing, you know, your child, our kids, that, you know, it's important that we show them that it is important to work hard. I just did this with my son, Ethan, and he was, saw that I was getting a little frustrated with the technical difficulties of like Zoom and stuff. And I told him, you know what, I was getting frustrated, but guess what, mommy did it. And this is how I persevered. So we had that talk. And I think that's important for kids to know that, like, when we're working, we do run into struggles, but it's how we overcome it. That's the most important thing. And then just limiting screen time, because they are going to be on their screen for school, especially virtually right now. So just limiting the screen time beyond the school setting. And then number 8, really important, just practicing habits of good self-care as a parent, because when we are not taking care of ourselves, then we're not the best that we can be for our own child. So just taking, you know, having a goal and doing some good self-care for yourself is important. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and watch a video of what is SEL and why it matters for you, for your child.
There's a lot of talk these days about SEL, social emotional learning. But what exactly is it? Social emotional learning is the process of learning social and emotional skills, and it's just as important as learning reading or math. This learning process is most effective when it begins early and continues through high school. Social emotional skills are essential for success in school, work, and life. With SEL, students learn to manage their own emotions and behaviors, have empathy and show care and concern for others, solve problems effectively, make responsible decisions, and maintain healthy relationships. Students learn to recognize what's happening inside them and to be aware of their emotions, which helps them deal with strong emotions and impulsive behaviors. It helps them stop, take a breath, and think about a situation before acting. Students learn to identify others' emotions and perspectives, which helps them empathize and show compassion, no matter who they are or what their background is. It's not difficult to imagine how this is important in the classroom and in life. Students learn to solve problems in peaceful ways and communicate assertively about what they need or want. This helps them get along with other students and get the help they need from adults. When students learn to make responsible decisions about their lives and their future, things can turn out better. Research shows social emotional learning makes a difference. Students who participate in SEL do better academically, have improved attitudes and behaviors, and act in delinquent or disruptive ways less often. In the United States, students with strong social emotional competence are twice as likely to earn a college degree and nearly 50% more likely to graduate from high school and have a full-time job by age 25. Just as important, students who are socially and emotionally competent have more friends. This means they're more likely to feel connected to school and do well, and less likely to be left out or bullied. Simply put, by participating in social emotional learning, students learn the skills to succeed in every facet of school and the rest of their lives.
Okay, so as we learned from that short little clip, it really shared some really great information. Again, I'm Mrs. Solis. Ms. Ortega and I are partners. We work together. I will be working this year with grades 2nd, 3rd, and ALE. And so a lot of what we do, we started our presentation explaining our role and how we help facilitate the learning. SEL will be referred to a whole bunch, and it's a big part of what we do and how we show support to our students. The beautiful thing is about our district, Northside, also understands how important SEL is. We know that academics is important, but we really support our students even by having, in just a few minutes, we're going to go over what's called a morning meeting. And so you will see and hear that as it's built into your child's schedule. But we know that SEL is a process, and it's a process in which children and adults understand and manage their emotions. Developmentally, we teach a lot through literature, but we also have activities and teach a lot of the social skill building and training, because these are lifelong skills that are going to help students be even more successful at managing relationships, their emotions, showing empathy, making great decisions. And so it's a continuum. Northside is a big advocate, so much in that it's a district-wide thing, and it's also going to be a school-wide practice where we incorporate that into our virtual schedule, which will include our morning meetings, and we'll go over that in just a second. And so what is a morning meeting? Well, it's a school-wide practice, and it's based, comes from a responsive classroom model. And basically it's based on the idea that students' SEL growth is just as important as their academic growth. And so we will be doing this virtually. Ms. Ortega and I will actually have lessons that are going to be incorporated into your child's schedule as well. And so those will be coming up in mid-September. In addition to that, we do have teachers who will start their mornings with virtual meetings. We're also going to show how you can help us facilitate that even at home with morning meetings. We'll give you an example of what that should look like. And this is a really nice little video that we're going to show. And of course, obviously, we are going to adhere to all safety standards. You will see that in the video, students are not wearing masks and are sitting together, but this is just merely to show you an example of what it looks like in action. And so we're just going to watch. It's a very short clip. Mr. Ortega, I don't think we have the sound on.
Miss Elise?
Yes, the sound wasn't on. I guess we can restart it and see.
The sound is not on? Oh, because
not on the video.
I'm sorry, because I was on mute. Let me go.
Oh, okay. Let's just start it from the beginning. It's a very short clip. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Every classroom has a morning meeting every day. After the teachers greet their boys and girls coming in the door, just to make eye contact and just to have a word with each and every student, they are able to then join together in a morning meeting so that they ensure that every student feels like their voice is in the room. They may not want to say anything during morning meeting, but they know they have the space. So even though kids come into the school setting looking as if everything's okay in their world, most kids are impacted by experiences of poverty or some adverse circumstances in their home environment. In order for us to prepare students to be in a position to learn, we first have to address the stress that they're feeling as they come into the classrooms.
Morning meeting, the first thing we do is we go around the circle and the students greet each other to the left and to the right of them. They greet them by name and focus on eye contact. Then what we usually do is we'll have some kind of share time, following the students what I think that they need and what would help them. And every day we do breathing. We breathe from our core, and it's the foundation of our mindfulness program in our classroom. After our breathing, we kind of wrap it up, and then I'll start our normal day.
You know, I heard a fifth grader describe it as, you know, teachers drink a cup of coffee every morning to kind of get set for their day. Well, we need morning meeting so that we set our day too. He talked about how they were going to work hard all day long, but they needed to be able to just laugh together and be together before they got started. And I love that story.
It gives us something to ground ourselves, and I'll notice on days when I forget some of the mindfulness pieces that we do, or maybe I don't do them as often, I'll notice that we have maybe a harder time coming together, transitioning between lessons or in the hallway. So these mindfulness pieces keep the students more engaged and mostly in control of their bodies.
It's that intentional coming together so that children feel that they're a part of the group, that they belong, and that their voice is heard.
Okay, I love that it's intentional, so that the students can feel welcome and starting out the day and be in that right mindset. These are the components of the breakdown of what it looks like. It's important to note that morning meeting isn't this long lesson. It's actually 15 to 30 minutes. And so here's kind of the breakdown. We have it in our presentation to provide parents with an example of the time frame and what the students will be doing. Now we'll go over each component in just a few seconds. But this is basically including all of the components all together: the greeting, the sharing, the mindfulness activity, the SEL lesson, which is included, and of course the morning message. Through the research and what kids have said, we'll show you a clip of what kids have said, little testimonials. It is part of their routine, the ritual. We already know that teachers do this through their restorative practices and their activities. But it's really important, and the kids look forward to it. So like that, we can start them off, engage them in their learning, and that they're ready to take on the day. Next slide. Okay, so as we talked about earlier, morning meetings can also be done at home. We have the greeting, the sharing, group activity, morning message, And we're going to have a couple of examples of what that would look like. The main thing is to acknowledge the students so that they are engaged, and you may hear that early on as they're doing their virtual learning, the teachers greeting them in the morning, and then maybe having a short share out an activity, and then of course what they're going to do, that morning message. Next slide. So the greeting could be something simple as just an acknowledgement, a handshake, a hug. You could do this at home if you have other children that are at home, but really engage in that, that contact, the, acknowledgement. The sharing, we've broken it up into days. Here are some samples. There's Mindset Monday, how you can shift your thinking to be positive. For Tuesday, what is an accomplishment that you're proud of? Wacky Wednesday, it's okay to be different, showing that being, that gratitude. Thursday, who are you thankful for? Letting that person know why you appreciate them. And then of course, Friday favorites. What was your favorite moment from this past week? So see, these are some examples of what maybe the teacher could do, but also what you can do at home to incorporate it as well. Okay. And then group activity, this might be a sample of what you might see or what you could, also do at home. We talk about breathing a whole bunch. I know Ms. Ortega and I will incorporate that in our guidance lessons. We know that breathing is therapeutic and it helps our students calm down and relax. And it's important for them to be able to overcome those emotions if they find that they're, upset and getting worked up. We know that getting them to start practicing and using what tools work for them when they're in a stressful situation can really be beneficial. And so here's just an example of what the group activity for breathing would look like. And this morning message focuses more on positive affirmations. We know that that's very powerful. We might have kids that might be coming in thinking about something else or worried about something else, or maybe something happened and they're having a difficult time letting things go. This just kind of tries to reframe that negative thinking into positive thinking and letting them know it's going to be okay. Mistakes are okay. I'm open. I'm ready to learn, and really receive that so that they can have a productive and positive day and positive outlook for that day. And this is a small little clip that it has a couple of testimonials. So I'm going to mute myself so Ms. Ortega can unmute.
We do morning meeting in the cafeteria. We go to our classroom, we sit in a circle, and we breathe with a chime. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath.
I think it's important to have morning meeting so we can calm down. We don't want to get it in and have it crazy, So we want to calm down, and when we'll calm down, we can get focus and all. So if people weren't have morning meeting, they would just be all crazy.
We shake each other's hand, saying good morning to each other in the circle, and then we talk about our day. For me, it's important because then you can become friends, and then if you have them in your table group, maybe you can communicate better with each other. How some people like to drink coffee and then it feels like it pulls them up. I think it's like that, but just for in school. It makes you feel real good about the school because it makes you feel safe.
If you don't feel safe there, then you won't want to be there because you just need to keep yourself safe because you never know what might happen.
When things are working, I feel, and the teachers feel like, okay, my classroom is under control. I can give my lesson, and me knowing that my students will pay attention. I think that it would just if you just come in and you just start pounding information into your head, it just doesn't. It might make you feel stressed out and oh, I'm just here at school just to learn. I don't have any fun. It's just gonna be boring. So what I think that we have that time period that we do that, it's just gonna be refreshing our minds. We're gonna get ready. We have a little bit of fun while we're doing it to get ready for all the learning that's gonna happen.
Okay, So I really love that perspective. That's my favorite video in the presentation because it's kids talking about their own emotions. And we know that they're very aware of how they're feeling. Sometimes they have a hard time expressing themselves, and that's part of SEL and the beauty of being able to teach that early on. So as mentioned, we work with students in all grade levels, and we have our program with lots of great resources. So know that we are partnering up with you and our staff, the teachers, our administrators who care about your child's learning and their emotions and developmentally what they are working through. So we want you to, really reach out to us. We have lots of great things that we're going to continue within our program: individual counseling, small group counseling, guidance lessons that we will be doing that even if it's through the virtual setting. But we want you to know that we are here to support you. We appreciate your time and thank you so much. We're going to, if you want to unrecord, and we can answer any questions that you might have.
I'm trying to.